Welcome. Today I will be paraphrasing, summarizing, and sharing for the December 19th Al-Anon readings in Courage to Change and a Little Time for Myself. We'll begin with the Serenity Prayer and 3 mindful breaths. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. We'll begin with a little time for myself. December 19th, I'll just take a minute to look over this reading. The question of the day is, how do I treat myself today? This is a very interesting reading. It's about playing the role of perpetrator and victim in an abusive relationship. How being this person was mean to themselves, causing themselves emotional pain, reliving the past, holding on to grudges, not being forgiving. They felt like they were their own worst enemy. But in Al-Anon, they're learning to break that pattern. Attending meetings, having a sponsor, they're coming to appreciate their strengths along with their weaknesses, but I'm sure now they're in a much more reasonable, a much more realistic perception, perhaps. Learning from mistakes and trading anger for peace. That's beautiful. Today's reminder, we don't have to tolerate unacceptable behavior from others or ourselves. And the quote is from Survival to Recovery. We choose how to live our life, and none of us deserve to be abused by anyone. So back to the question, how do I treat myself today? I am much more aware of the thoughts that go on in my head about myself and about others. They're kind of related. When I'm feeling peaceful with myself, I feel peaceful with others. And it may start off with feeling peaceful about someone else and then realizing that I feel good and I feel peaceful. So I think it does work both ways. But Al-Anon has really opened up my awareness to the idea of humility. I talk about this all the time because to me, it 100% has to do with how I treat myself, how I think about myself, how I treat others. And when I am at peace and secure in the idea that no one is better, no one is worse, when I don't compare myself, I feel much more at peace, and I feel like I'm much more kind to myself. so I treat myself much better. So how do I treat myself today? Today, I feel like I'm treating myself pretty well. I don't feel like I definitely haven't done anything outwardly abusive to myself. When I catch myself thinking negative things about myself, I stop it and I reframe it. And as long as I have time in my day or space, the serenity, the calm enough to do that, that's the key. And so it's definitely a priority for me. Yesterday I had a very busy day. It's funny, it wasn't really that busy. I left my house around 9 and I didn't get home until about 4. And I drove a total of 3.5 hours. 1.5 hours one way, 2 hours back. And it was rainy and it was windy, but I was just listening to music, drinking my tea. I went to visit my uncle and I was singing in the car, and I had a good visit with my uncle. And even though he was kind of unhappy with the fact that I could only stay the amount of time I could stay, uh, I'm doing the best I can. I'm absolutely doing the best I can. So I thought about that, especially on the way home, because I knew he was sad when I left, and it was easy to feel some guilt, but at the same time, and plus, I don't know what it's like to be 94. I've had other loved ones in my life, relatives, neighbors, and I know that they have experienced something that I have not experienced yet, and I just really hope that I'm giving it the love and the dignity that it deserves, that they deserve. It's tricky. It's tricky. My uncle just wants me there all the time, and I can't be there all the time. He lives at least an hour and a half away, and he has 4 children, and they're wonderful children. They take very good care of him. It's tricky. So the point of me saying all that is that when I felt like blaming myself or making myself feel guilty, I became aware of that and thought, I'm doing the best I can. And I just pray to God that I'm doing the right thing because, like I said, I don't know what it's like to be in my 90s and to live alone, and I just don't know. So, I ask for my higher power's guidance and I try to act on that the best I can, and that's it. So how about you? How do you treat yourself today? It was roundabout, but definitely it brought up a lot of feelings. Let's see. All right, December 19th. Let me look this over. Encouraged to change. This is a lot. This page is about attending to our physical, emotional, and spiritual well-being because being subjected, having the experience of a loved one involved in alcoholism or substance abuse can really challenge our physical, emotional, and spiritual well-being. So it's talking about self-care habits, and it's listing a bunch of them in 3 paragraphs. So it has to do with nutrition, sleep, medical care, hygiene, movement, affection, having a sponsor, Al-Anon friends, celebrating when things go well, doing things that we enjoy, focusing on gratitude, our relationship with our higher power, prayer, meditation, Al-Anon meetings, Al-Anon literature, step work, and acknowledging our progress. That's a lot. But I think that I can't speak for anybody but myself, but I think about all these things all the time. This is an excellent reminder. And I think that this is part of the reason why I always say that taking care of myself is a full-time job. And I think that no matter what phase of recovery we are in, it is extremely important for us to make our physical, emotional, and spiritual well-being a top priority for ourselves, because nobody else can do it. Even if they want to, they can't do it for us. We have to do it for ourselves. And that goes for everyone. Everyone is responsible for their own physical, emotional, and spiritual well-being, but that doesn't mean that anyone is alone. We are so fortunate to have the fellowship of Al-Anon, and hopefully we are fortunate enough to have people who may still be associated with Al-Anon, but maybe not, in our lives, maybe friends, maybe relatives, teachers, counselors, anybody can help contribute in a positive way to our physical, emotional, and spiritual health. That's all I have to say about that. So we'll close out with a serenity prayer and 3 mindful breaths. Here we go. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. Thank you so much for joining me today. I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow. Sending you love. Take care.